everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, which is Technology Foundations to Thrive in a Remote Working Environment. My name is Grant Smith. I'm the Communications Manager at Connecting App and TechSoup in New Zealand. Today we'll be learning how to access and make the most of Microsoft's not-for-profit technology platforms to support collaborative remote working, to improve operational efficiency, and to enable staff to spend more time with their clients. Telling us about all of this will be Julia Clinch and Marcus Harvey from InfoExchange. Julia is a senior consultant focusing on tech foundation and business intelligence within InfoExchange's digital transformation program and comes with lots of experience in technology for not-for-profits. Marcus is digital transformation manager at InfoExchange and comes with more than a decade of experience in helping not-for-profits make the most out of technology. Marcus is currently leading InfoExchange's digital transformation hub. Please note that today's session is being recorded and you will get access to that recording in the next day or two. If you have any technical issues, you can ask me about those in your questions panel, but do keep in mind that most of the issues will tend to be around internet bandwidth. So if you could please close any programs or browsers that you're not using, then that will solve most of the issues. Another self-fix is to leave and re-enter the session. But if that all fails, then please do message me and I will help you in any way I can. With that is all housekeeping for today. I hand you over to Julia and Marcus.
Thanks very much, Grant. And look, we're really thrilled to be talking with you all today. I do need to give a big thank you to Victorian Government for putting on the Digital Innovation Festival and supporting this webinar. This is actually the first in the series of 5 over the next fortnight that have been specifically designed for non-profits and cover topics such as tech foundations, this one, digital marketing, cybersecurity, business intelligence, where we get Julia sharing her expertise again, and digital service delivery to help non-profits thrive in that COVID normal working environment that unfortunately is more and more of today. And that's because digital technologies have really been critical to non-profits so that they can connect with people in need and continue to deliver services in these often challenging times. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. I'm joining you today from Bunurong land in the Kulin Nation, but recognising that you will be joining us from all over the country. We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today. And if I look at background and what the genesis of the Digital Transformation Hub and this webinar series was, it really came about from our work with non-profits in the early days of COVID. And that's when the need for digital transformation and the hub as an entity became apparent. Many organisations, especially those that had servers and desktops, were struggling with that transition to work from home. We found that we just didn't have enough time as an organisation to help everyone that needed assistance. And that's where the idea of the Digital Transformation Hub came about, with the aim of bringing together the best of non-profit technology so that every organisation can have help and guidance on their journey to transform their operations and thrive in today's COVID normal work environment. With this in mind, we've developed the hub to include 6 separate areas. A quiz, the digital capability quiz, to help every organisation understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and their opportunities to improve, identify their priorities. Case studies to learn from others so that they can understand how others have been through the digital transformation journey and take the lessons they've learned and apply it within their organisation. Number 3 is the digital guides to help organisations see a path through that technology jungle and to ensure that they have the information they need to successfully make a change within their organisation. Training resources for skills development. One of the biggest challenges that we often hear about is the need for free or low cost training resources, and that's where within the hub we've put the best of those guides together, whether it be the webinars through the Connecting Up platform such as this one, which is available at no cost, whether it be some Microsoft training resources available for free, or whether it be online learning and self-paced learning platforms that help you at a time of your choosing work through modules and build your skills. The other one, the fifth area that we've put together in the hub, which is actually really exciting, and we've had an extreme level of interest in this space, which is great, is expert advice. Through the hub, you can reach out and ask for an expert consult with one of our technology experts. It ends up being one of us in the team, could be Julia, or one of our non-profit tech volunteers who are experienced in non-profit technology and can give you that guidance to help you through the technology jungle and build your digital capability. And the sixth area is obviously those technology discounts for non-profits, so you can make the most of every dollar and don't spend more than you need to. Each of the technologies has been broken down into 5 separate domains, and you can see them on the screen at the moment. So what we've done in helping organisations to think about how they move through that technology jungle is to break information into domains, whether it's tech foundations, information systems, digital marketing, IT management, or cybersecurity. And with each of those domains, we've then got pathways to help organisations build their capability. From the basic level, I'm just starting out, I'm not really sure where I am or where my next steps are, through to intermediate, which is when you've got the fundamentals under control, things are reliable, staff are working well, and then through to advanced, when everything, you're really a leader in that space, and your staff are saying, this is fantastic, we can work effectively. But in each of those 5 domains, what we do recommend is organisations pick an area to focus in. And they pick an area and focus on that and build their capability. Once their capability is at a reasonable level, they then move to another domain that offers the greatest value to their organisation. And we've split that up because doing a bit of everything ends up getting very complex. And our experience in working with non-profits is organisations will often not bed in the changes they need. And so that's why today's webinar, I'm going to hand over to Julia in a minute, is critical in terms of let's build those tech foundations, let's get you to a baseline, people working more effectively, and then let's focus on the next most important thing, whether that be information systems to deliver better services, digital marketing to attract new supporters and funds, IT management to get better value from the IT dollar, or cybersecurity to keep your information safe. Down the bottom of every slide is the website or the URL of the Digital Transformation Hub. If you haven't checked it out, go there and have a look. There's more than 60 separate guides helping organisations to make value out of technology. And also the Digital Innovation Festival is running for 2 weeks. And so there is close to 100 separate webinars on a whole range of exciting topics. Only 5 of them are the ones we're providing, so there's a whole range of other things as well. Julia, I'll hand over you to talk about tech foundations and thriving in a remote working environment.
Thank you so much, Marcus. And I just want to acknowledge where I'm presenting from today in South Yarra, the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects the Indigenous elders past, present and emerging. And I also want to acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded, and it always was and always will be Aboriginal land. So I'm excited today. We'll be exploring the challenges of working remotely and then share some advice on the Microsoft Office 365 suite and how non-for-profits really overcome those challenges while using the Microsoft suite, and really empowering and motivating your workforce to have what they need and want in terms of improving, business resilience and, having that team collaboration and hopefully, reliving what we can't right now, which is face-to-face catch-ups and collaborations and communication. So first, before we kick off, I'd love to start a poll. I want to know what you are hoping to get out of today. So Grant, please, if you can kick off the poll. Thank you.
That one's live, Julia. Just let that run for another couple of seconds, and then I'll share the results. Okay, so we've got 36% want to learn how to effectively use Microsoft 365. Similar, learn more about functions of Microsoft 365. 20% want to understand NFP Microsoft 365 licensing and pricing.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that, Grant. You're in the right place. So I'm glad that we are presenting today and giving you hopefully some tips, tricks, and also insights of how non-for-profits are working remotely using Microsoft 365. So I will kick off, and apologies there, I just noticed that one of those answers was different to the poll question. So just quickly run through the agenda. Again, remote working has been really affected the past 2 years, obviously what's happening in the world with COVID-19. So I'm just going to touch on some of those sort of impacts. I will touch on a hybrid working environment as well. This sort of environment was there pre-pandemic, but I guess it has changed a lot in the last 2 years. So we'll talk about what that sort of looks like. Then we'll talk about workforce transformation, how to sort of begin that, how to transform the way we work in the home office. And, again, if you're in a business that has maybe frontline workers, how do we all sort of keep that communication and collaboration to have that business continued business services and products. And then we'll talk a little bit about the cloud, because Microsoft 365 is a cloud, or you can also use the term software as a service. So talk a little bit about that. What does that look like? And just some understandings of how that sort of works, and just to point out some understanding of it so you feel comfortable in a sense of transitioning into the cloud. We'll also look at non-for-profits using Microsoft 365, some common misunderstandings about it, some benefits. There's a lot there to talk about. Licensing options, which I know a lot of you were really keen and interested to hear what we provide, what Microsoft provides for non-profits, and the training, there is so much, so I'm really excited to share that. And I will touch on SharePoint, Teams, and OneDrive, because we do have this common question of how these tools work. There is some cross-pollination, but these tools are very valuable in each of their streams. So just going to give an overview on that. I was going to do a demo, but just with the time we have today, I will just be touching on them high level. But please, if you've got any questions or want to deep dive into it, type away in the chat, or afterwards come to the Digital Transformation Hub in the expert bar, and we can have a consultation. And after that, we'll go on to next steps. So how do we start, or where do we go? It can be sometimes really confusing to just know where to begin. So, as I was mentioning before, the statement is so prevalent. So COVID-19 is magnifying the inequalities in our communities and around the world. Also, as the demand for non-for-profit services significantly grow, we see resources and funding really tightening up. So for many non-for-profits, there has never been more pressure to do more with less. So they're asking you to increase the scale of your operations, improve the efficiency, protect your data, so your beneficiaries or your donors' data. On top of that, keeping up with the change of pace as well in this digital world. And obviously with COVID, we're working in the same space as we play. So I know for me personally, I'm working here, I'm, socializing here, I'm playing here, and that it can get really overwhelming. So hopefully when we go through this, we can give you some tips and tricks of how we sort of balance that. So again, the way we work has changed at a dramatic pace. It's honestly become supercharged in 2021. Technology has become more critical and affects our work and social lives now more than any time in previous history. The big tech platforms are now playing more of a part in our daily lives than ever before. So with quarantine, self-isolation, we are honestly being forced to live our lives almost solely through technology. So working and playing through the screens. And I just want to say on that note, I hope you're at least getting outside 5 minutes, ground yourself, hug a tree, recharge and reconnect, because I know we all need that. And I say this out loud to remind myself as well. So I've got some stats up here on the slide. This is from our annual survey. Just so you know, we're still running our 2021 survey. So if you want to hop on there and answer a few questions to give us insight around what your non-for-profit organisation is doing, please, we would love to hear from you. So last year in 2022, we saw 97% of non-for-profits had to change the way they delivered services. 97. I'll let that sink in. It's a lot, specifically for non-for-profits where their services are so crucial for people who really need it. So yeah, it obviously affected a lot of people, 97% in particular. And then we look on the right here, 70% of non-for-profits didn't have systems in place to adapt and help their staff work remotely. So again, I know the transition, it's honestly, it's a scary one. So to see that statistic up there really, it saddens my heart. So I actually just wanted to find out from the crowd today, so another poll, Grant, has your organisation had to change the way they delivered services?
Okay, excuse me, no massive surprises there. 94% yes, that's a whopping yes.
Wow. 94% of you had to change the way you delivered services. Yeah, so let's see if we can help support you today in some of those in transitioning to delivering their services. So thank you, Grant, for posting. We'll quickly talk about the hybrid working. So technology, as you know, has reduced the cost and increased fidelity of remote communication. So making it possible for us to seamlessly collaborate with anyone from anywhere around the world. And again, with lockdowns and social distancing, it has made working remotely a necessity. changing the nature of the workplace forever. So we can see on the left here the fully remote. Obviously, 94% of you likely has transitioned over onto to the left there. This remote, fully remote, is not, available for everyone. We have our incredible frontline workers, our health workers who have been integral in this pandemic, who are on the right there, still fully co-located. So I just wanted to highlight this quickly, as some organizations just can't fully go remote. They still have to have that sort of hybrid way of working. But actually 90% of Australians want that mix of working from home in some capacity, and 72% of workers wanted a mix of remote and in-person working. So the demand is there. People do want that flexibility, but again, sometimes depending on the organisation, it is not feasible. So the benefits of hybrid working, well, there's a lot of them. Hybrid work means for non-for-profit organisations, they can continue delivering core services through periods of social distancing. We know that non-for-profit services are so crucial. So to see that hybrid can benefit them in this way, really warms the heart. Some additional benefits, these are more specifically towards employees, and I find the staff retention rate comes into these. We want to hold on to our staff who are the core of the business. So I'd say positive work-life balance. Okay, maybe not right now for us folk in Melbourne or Sydney, where we are fully remote. We can't go, well, we're not dropping our kids off in the morning. We're not able to attend that sort of midday yoga class, but these things may be the one thing that truly helps that balance. So hopefully we can go back to doing that in a couple of weeks' time. I know I used to love my midday yoga flow because it would just refresh me. I'd come back, I'd be ready to tackle more work. Wider recruitment options. So in fact, research, with one of the fastest growing workforce here in Australia, non-for-profit organisations now can tap into that wider labour pool. So they can offer flexible work practices. They can, have someone in Adelaide now. It's maybe working for a non-for-profit that headquarters is in Melbourne. So we've got that broad, wider recruitment options. Greater job satisfaction and higher productivity levels. So offering flexible works can really help non-for-profits give employees the flexible work, which from my personal experience has improved my job satisfaction and really reduced burnt out. I guess enabling me to again go explore things during the day. Maybe when I'm on a meeting, can go for a walk while I'm on the call. In the office, it wasn't really, you'd be meeting face to face, so you didn't really have that sort of flexibility to do that. So that definitely trickles down from having a bit more productivity level during the day, instead of having to be in the office if you're a 9-to-5 organization, sitting there and having your lunch break, coming back, but still being in that sort of same environment. And then social inclusion opportunities for people who struggle to work in a traditional setting. So you think about people with disabilities or illness, and people with carers, or regional or remote workers can now have the opportunity to be in an organisation with the hybrid working. And then we've also got cost savings and more. You think about the overhead for the infrastructure, or even rental fees. Maybe you've moved fully remotely, don't have to pay for the lease anymore, which I know in Melbourne CBD is just skyrockets through the roof. And you can also see lower rates of absenteeism. So people, you know, are more likely to be online together, and yeah, so that also comes in terms of a cost benefit. Your employees, I guess, from the productivity levels are giving more, and that's always a cost benefit. So hybrid working, how does it set up for success? Leadership and communication. So if you have decided to go ahead with a hybrid working, doing so successfully does require leadership and communication. So I think about it as a whole. You got people, process, and technology. So the three here really need to come together and modernize each of those steps to really be able to transform the way you work. So leadership and comms allows people to really remain in control of the flexibility they desire. So by ensuring your company is able to do so, you can retain people and keep them feeling valued. So the first step is supporting hybrid teams to establish how they would work. So having that real focus and clear direction. After that, communicate with them what is expected throughout the organization. So the ideal scenario for most employees is to choose when they come in and out of the office, when we have that option again. It may be practical depending on the size or the space. So yeah, again, every organization is going to be different, but having that clear and concise direction is key. So as a leader as well, in consultations with employees, you really need to decide on the days, but also understand the impediments to successful hybrid working. So you might want to do a survey or just have a thorough conversation with your people. Do they have the tools? Do they have the technology in place? Are they trained on the technology? Are they comfortable with remote meeting facilitation? And then preventing burnout. So one of the risks identified by many people working from home is the blurring of boundaries between work and home life. Again, I talked about this with the technology. It's, you know, we're constantly on it for work and play. So when, and you know, too much screen time is and I will say this hand on heart, is not good for the soul. You need to reset, go into nature, recharge. So leaders can definitely help create an environment where impediments be raised safely, so people can speak up if they have too much work, and then also actually be, you know, set a positive culture around, you know, maybe at after hours, a leader could avoid messaging or emailing to really set that precedent of, hey, you know, work days off, turn off. I think that's so crucial. Effectively using technology. So having access to the right technology and tools, and hopefully we'll give you some more insights on the 365. It simplifies the transition to hybrid working and really removes the friction. So you should review all and ensure all tools are equally accessible remotely and when possible in the office. So you could ask questions: does everyone have access to what they need? Training required? Do we need to standardize on tools? Because maybe, for example, one team is using Slack as a communication, maybe the other is using Teams. So really understanding how we're going to communicate and collaborate with technology. And another way here, we've got hybrid working social contract. This can be, yeah, another way that teams ensure you all have a aligned purpose. So deep connection to your stakeholders, and then sharing an understanding of their norms and values, I think is really key. So this tool of hybrid working social contract could, and this can look different for everyone, but allow a team to agree what they're working on, who they're working for, why they're doing it, and how they best sort of work and support each other. And I just want to show on the the right-hand side here with the guides, we've got so much on our digital transformation hub, but just to name a few: setting up for success of hybrid working. We've got a use case for Oxfam who moved to a hybrid working. You can go check out what they've done and see the learnings there. And also we understand that it's a sort of a privilege to have access to softwares and technologies out there. So I've just linked there a catalogue of our free and discounted software for non-for-profit organisations. You know, not just your collaboration communication tools, tech foundations, which we're talking about today, but also the information systems. So please feel free to have a look on there. Something fell out. I hope you guys can't hear the rain too much. It's just started pouring. Okay, so on to traditional, oh, no, we're going on to the cloud, sorry. What is the cloud? So just to quickly run through this, the cloud is not the fluffy white thing in the sky, funny enough. The data doesn't sit there, but it does still sit on physical infrastructure. I just wanted to clarify as well, the cloud is not a destination, it is an operating model. So it can look, again, it looks different for everyone. And at the last point there with SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, and DaaS, they're just other terminologies for cloud. So software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, they are cloud models. So if you do hear that come up, we're talking about the cloud. It's a very, when I first heard about the cloud, I was like, it has so many meanings, but just so you know, it is an operating model. And the cloud, it can be accessed from anywhere, which is what the awesome, that's the awesome sort of benefit from it. You can, and on any device as well, on your mobile, your tablets, whatever you use as your, you know, your communication device. It is subscription based, so it's just similar to like your Netflix. Hey, I want to get lots of videos and TV series, so I'm going to sign up to Netflix, and you log in and then you get all this, it's like service catalog. Same with Microsoft. You log into your account and you get all these apps like your Outlook, your Teams, SharePoint. We'll go into that a bit later. And another great thing is you don't own any infrastructure or manage it. So I previously worked for an infrastructure company where, you know, we had to upgrade and we had to go through all these processes to sort of upgrade just the network side, and then we wanted to upgrade the storage side. So you don't have to worry about any of that. Microsoft does it all for you. So traditional versus modern workforce. So I really wanted to put that in here because I find organizations can really get caught up in turning for tech for answers. And so I just really want to remind everyone, modern isn't necessarily better. The important question is this new approach helping the workplace? Because has it really changed that much? You know, I wasn't around when floppy disks were there, but they have now become digital software. And you think about manual data entry as well, they've been replaced, well, they're coming around to be replaced by automation. But when you think about it, this technology hasn't really changed the end goal. Collaboration and communication are still at the very heart of the business. Technology just allows us to do it a bit differently. So it's just a new way of delivering on the same objective. If you don't have an accurate understanding of the business needs, or you have poor communication between the teams and leaders, it's not going to be solved by this modern attitudes to work. So collaboration and communication are the strongholds in both traditional workplace and modern workplaces. And no, the ping pong tables didn't help. So I just want to highlight that. And also I've got there, you know, tech companies have had to evolve too. Me working for one of the biggest tech companies in the world, you know, we were only the last year that I was there just transitioning onto Teams. So it's it's no longer about building a bespoke application or implementing them into the workplace. Instead, there are plenty of applications. Think about the Microsoft umbrella. They are now able to customize their applications to organizations and individual user needs too. So they're becoming more of a how-to company rather than like, here's the commodity apps and hardware and things like that. So my last point there, strategic change management. There is no question that the success of both traditional workplace and modern workplace comes down to people. So those who understand the end user and what's required, I guess once this is understood, then change management can be implemented using the tech-suited understanding what technology for specific needs. So I've got another poll for everyone just to keep you entertained and hopefully checking in, because I know it can be hard to focus. We've got attention span less than a goldfish, so 8 seconds, I think it's less than. So I just wanted to know, how well right now does your team communicate and collaborate? And thanks, Grant.
No problem. Okay, this is wow. Well, mostly wow. So 18% very good, 29% good, 41% acceptable, and 6% poor, 6% very poor. So mostly good news, but not all.
Good news. Thank you for that. I'm glad everyone's communicating and collaborating more effectively, especially since 94% of you said you had to change the way that your organization services operated. So honestly, well done. So enabling up for remote workforce, let's get into the nitty gritty here. So we at InfoStrange, at the Digital Transformation Hub, have really come up with a 5-step remote plan. So cloud computing offers non-for-profits really a cost-effective and sustainable option to store and share your information and really enable staff to remote work. So cloud computing stores each remote cloud computing stores programs and files on remote servers owned and maintained by another organization. So the cloud can be purely for storage or deliver programs like your email, word processing, communication. So we recommend, step number 1, we do recommend all non-for-profits use either the Microsoft 365 platform or Google Workspace for your tech foundations, because these both, which are in the cloud, both enable the staff to work wherever they are, and just the incredible pricing and discounts that they give is, it'd be rude not to. So again, choosing that collaboration platform is really key to have that remote working. And again, non-for-profits can really highly benefit from these discount pricings and the popular collaboration benefits. And I'm sure a lot of you have used either Microsoft or Google before. You're very familiar with these platforms. So number 2, equipping staff for effective remote working. Again, this space, the space I'm in now, I think it's so vital to ensure that it is benefiting you, whether that's the screen setup, whether ensuring that you got a up-to-date router for the internet connection, ensuring that your space is going to give back to you so you can effectively work and collaborate with your teammates. So we're actually at the moment in the hub devising a sort of checklist of what to look out for, because you think about ergonomics is key, and I know a lot of people with the standing desk. That's amazing. I think that's such a great innovative product, especially now because we're all remote working. But this chair is an ergonomic chair. It's the little things like that that we do truly forget. So watch this space, because we're going to be building sort of a checklist of how people can ensure that their environment is effective for them. I was just even looking at my lamp, like at nighttime. It's a great ambience lamp. So for me, it just puts me in a better mood, and I can continue working. Don't tell my boss, but continue working out of hours. Or you could tell him, because that sounds like I'm a hard worker. So step number 3, choose core systems that enable staff to securely access information remotely. So again, Marcus touched on this with talking about information systems, like your CRMs and your ERPs, and just ensuring your staff has access to this at home. So maybe you have to look at your policies and your procedures, and yeah, ensure you can get access to maybe these systems where your services for your clientele come through. So again, just getting, if you've got IT involved or whoever looks after your policies and procedures, making sure you've got access to all these systems. So number 4, using multi-factor authentication and other protections. So I know security is, because we're all online, there's so many threats a day. I think back in 2018, there was a stat that 1 million threats happen daily. And I know that's just probably blown out the water now. And when you think about it, without adequate protections, remote working will increase your organization's vulnerability to data breaches. So multi-factor authentication is really a single most powerful defense against such breaches. Additional things might be your encryption for your PCs, and we will sort of touch on a bit more in the Microsoft suite. But again, it's a sort of a scary topic to be discussing and look into what's the mechanism of our environment, but it is so crucial to ensure that you are keeping your clientele's data safe as well as your own. The last but not least, providing secure access to legacy applications might not be for everyone here, but if your organization does use legacy applications that might not be currently accessed through the cloud, seek advice from your IT expert to just identify remote access. That could be, RDPs, remote desktop services, Azure, VPNs, Citrix, other technologies. Again, we'll be speaking to your IT partner or support on that. And on the right here, just got some guides. Again, right here, hardware, we've got a webinar on that. We've got embracing working from home, communications, advancing in the tech foundation. So again, Marcus talked about digital quiz. You can see where you're at, and then 6 months later, you can take it again and just see where you're growing on your journey. It is a journey. This whole thing is a journey. So while saying that, don't be hard on you and your organization of how you're doing. And training options 365 on there as well for the remote workforce. So I've got one more poll for everyone. I just want to know where your organization would need the most support. So Grant, thank you for popping that up. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Just thinking about time. We've only got 15 minutes. It went super fast. I really want to get into the Microsoft 365 stuff. Thanks, Grant.
Okay, so we've got most people Microsoft 365 training, and then equally split across everything else.
Okay, great. Okay, well, we'll dive into that now. Let's get into the Microsoft 365 stuff. So Microsoft 365 is rebranded from the Office 365. It's just with more features. That's all you really need to know. Those already set up on Microsoft 365 are probably finding it really, remote working easy. It's a powerful platform, and one that can, when used to its full potential, can make working remotely collaborative, effective, and advantage to your business. So connect to your Microsoft app set from anywhere. As I said, this into the cloud sort of conversation. You can connect it, you can log in from anywhere. It will improve your communications, because we're going to touch on this in terms of how Teams and SharePoint all sort of just the tools and the way they, in the last year as well, Microsoft has improved the functionality. It's beyond my expectations that I ever thought that Microsoft could get to. So it's centralized collaboration. Like, you know, when you're worried about where did I put this file and here and there, Microsoft 365 really allows that central repository, and just the searching capability on it as well, you know, enables employees to really just have that more productive way of working. A predictable spend that just comes off the subscription base. So you know how much you're paying for your Netflix, well, you know how much you're going to be paying for your Microsoft 365 suite. So again, budgets, setting a budget is a awesome benefit. Business continuing, I can't say that word right now, but again, just allowing your services to be up and running all the time. You know, we hardly hear any downtime with these clouds, and from that automatic upgrade, so you never have to worry about, they honestly run in the background. You don't have to worry about saying your OS version is compatible with this new upgrade features, or whether that comes. Thank you. And then secure cloud storage. So I know, you know, we all worry about what would happen to our data. Well, files stored in the cloud are regularly backed up, and your organization can continue to operate as normal if there's a case of disaster in the office. Like if there's a fire somewhere, well, your data's in the cloud. So no matter what happened to your physical devices, emails, files, whatever, it's safe. Your data is safe. Exchange also has like a recovery feature, which means individual emails or even, you know, entire inboxes can be restored. So the business continuity I was going to try to attempt to say that again, but no go. All right, common misunderstandings. So it's expensive. Well, not for well, again, it depends. It depends on your budget and actually how much you value the service. I find this is such a core service. You know, your emails, your IP, it's your IP of your business. So it depends how you sort of value that. But again, the pricing that we give to non-for-profits is incredible. It's just Office Online will know. Office 365 bundles together a selection of tools and apps into a subscription service. So yeah, it's not just your desktop Outlook. Cloud only. So no, you can have so you can utilize your desktop programs, and we'll go into that a bit more around the licensing. It's not secure. Well, Microsoft have been around for decades. So their security capability is up there. And Microsoft takes steps to not only grant access and visibility to your data when necessary, they restrict who can do this as well. So you can read more on their Trust Center to find out more, but just to give you a long story short, it is secure. So how are non-for-profits using 365? Well, they're starting, well, first of all, 35% are actually using Exchange, so 365 as their primary email application. So you can see there that, you know, it is very popular. And what we see is a lot of non-for-profits just starting out really small, so just targeting something like your emails, and then sort of starting to build on that and seeing what else they can use in the 365 pool. Improving security as we start accepting the thought of cloud, you know, many breaches. We start thinking of breaches, and we often worry that we hear our content will be somewhere other than our own servers. Well, Microsoft delivers enterprise-grade security, so encryption, scalability, availability, and really helps you manage sensitive corporate data to fulfill non-for-profits compliance and regulatory requirements. Again, we've got security. Microsoft Office 365 has security and compliance centers to offer, you know, centralized portals where users can actually establish and manage, you know, archiving or retention, but we won't go into that. And video conferencing, a lot of them use it for the Teams video conferencing. You know, we don't have that face-to-face capability anymore, so it's more of that online video. Collaborate with Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive. So this picture here, Teams doesn't have to be in the middle. Like it can, you know, these all sort of cross-pollinate. But the way I like to look at it is OneDrive is your personal file storage. You can share documents and then have, maybe Marcus and I we shared this slide deck, for example, and we were working on it together. We can actually see if we're working on it together as well, if they're logged in on the PowerPoint. We can see, and it's just a great way of, even that small little connection of like, oh, Marcus is on the slide. Hey, you know, we are communicating together, and it helps close that gap of, you know, feeling disconnected while we're not in the office. Teams, wow, Teams has just blown out of this world. In terms of video conferencing, you know, got capabilities in there where it's just like it mutes the background noise. My dog was barking the other day, and I was like, "Can you hear that?" And everyone was like, "No." So not only that, but you got the persistent chats. And then you can set up teams. So if let's say I'm marketing team, I set up a marketing team channel. And then maybe under that, we've got the annual event, and we need to have a place where we organize all the annual event stuff, have all our files, because Teams is a file repository as well. This is where it gets confusing because they all can be, the three of them, file repositories, but it depends how your team collaborates and communicates. So I'm on Teams, and as a marketing team, we've got the annual event, so I make a sub-channel called our annual event, and on there, we've got persistent chat. So if someone joined the organization and they wanted to get up to date with, okay, what's happening with this annual event, the chat has got the history, so they can actually be added to that channel, and then they can scroll up and see what everyone's been discussing. Then they can go into the files folder, see what files are in there. The other capabilities of Teams, you've got add-ons like Planner, which is like a Kanban board. If you don't know what that is, it's just like a project management board, you know, with all the different streams of who's doing what, the tasks and who, and other things like forms. So forms allow you to poll and quizzes, and oh, there's just so much capability. But the biggest one is the video and the voice calls. You know, it's in the cloud now, so you log in from anywhere, and the way the functionality as well, like it's single tap. So if I've got a meeting and organize a meeting through Teams, it would just directly give them a link. I don't have to copy, paste, or do anything. It's all automated. I can't tell you how much I love Teams. And SharePoint is again another file repository, but it can be used as an intranet. And that's kind of the core collaboration. It's more of the organizational file sharing. So OneDrive personal, SharePoint organization, and you can have that search capability of like, maybe someone in HR who I never talk to has documentation, but I want to see something about onboarding. So, you know, if it's allowed, if I can see that document, I can quickly type away and share and then find that document. So these three tools are so amazing when they really work together. And again, don't worry too much. Like if you're not using SharePoint, maybe you don't need it in your organization. Maybe you don't have enough people or enough news or content. Like you could just be using Teams and OneDrive. But I really just wanted to call out those three because together they're powerful. I won't go through the general preferences, but no, you know, with the 4 generations, we all like to do things differently. Again, with Microsoft Teams, though, helping really bring together that communication collaboration. I really wish I had time to show you a demo of how we use Teams, but just what I was talking about before, how I said I wanted to create a team. On the middle photo there, you can see they've got a team called Adventure Work Cycles. Not sure what that means, but I'm sure like everyone in that cycles is a cyclist. And so they've got in that cyclist, they've got events, they've got marketing, so you can have sub-channels like that as well. Again, with the conversations and your file storage in there, and your shared team calendar as well. So if I wanted to set up a meeting using Teams, which is the meeting protocol, the link. So it's, if you know others, you might know Zoom or GoToWebinar, Skype. There's a lot out there, but with the Microsoft coming with the Teams, oh, sorry, I should say Google Meets as well, which used to be called Hangouts. Yeah, it's just a great tool. You can actually see everyone's availability. Like, you don't have to go to Linda's file, Marcus's file, Grant's file. You can just see it all come up when you start entering their names in Teams. Again, one day I will do a demo on this so you can see how amazing these 3 tools are. Again, SharePoint, I talked about this, company intranet used as a file server, and really good for the organizational communication collaboration. So onto the licensing. I'll be short and sweet here because I would love to sort of get some, if anyone has questions, love to get some answered. So we've got, in a way, we've got 6 licensing. The first 3 are for more of your smaller to medium non-for-profits, and the last 3 are your larger ones. So and it's funny because the first 3 and the other 3, they're very similar. So basic and then the E1 are pretty much the same, but the difference there is the small to medium is up to 300 users, whereas the others, you can go beyond 300 users, and there's a few more capabilities that I'll talk about in a moment. So you get your basic plan, which is just your online mail, Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive. So you don't get the desktop app, which I know a lot of people love. And then the last 2, standard and premium, you get the desktop, but you also get Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Publisher. So the basic one is more so frontline workers. So your health workers who just need to log in and get some email, they're the ones that I usually cater for, where they don't actually have to have a device on them 24/7. And then the premium, which is the most popular, this is because of the advanced security capabilities and 10 free user licenses. So if you've only got 10 people, you're going to get this free anyway. Otherwise, it's $6.90 per user per month, with the standard $4.10 per user a month. And again, the difference there is very much the security capabilities. You get Defender that's included, so the virus on your the virus software, sorry, on your PC. Intune, which is sort of a management of your devices, whether it's BYO or the company devices. Conditional access, again, that's the who's got access to what, and Azure, protection there. So premium is usually what we see all our organizations, not-for-profit organizations, go to. And just quickly to touch on the E1, E3, and very similar before, but again, that capability of going beyond 300 users, as I sort of mentioned before. But yeah, E1's like basic, E3 sort of like standard, E5 like your premium. And yeah, I'll kind of skip that. If you've got any questions on that, please pop that in the chat. We've also got Marcus here, who has been on this on the Microsoft licensing solution designing for a while, so he will have all the ins and outs. We're very lucky in terms of training. Microsoft Learn, they've got too much, and sometimes it can be overwhelming, but they have categorized it. So you got Office 365, then you got Teams, Security Center, Cloud Training. But we also, so Microsoft has partnered with TechSoup, and they've created a digital skills center for non-for-profit. So I'll link that at the end of this slide deck, and that will be sent out to everyone. So that's just a collection of training courses designed to non-for-profits, because sometimes the Microsoft Learn could be a bit overwhelming. So TechSoup has created that the training there for you. And yeah, so much more on our digital hub as well. But before, I don't want to steal too much of any more of your time. So what's next steps? If you haven't already, signing up to Connecting Up. Connecting Up is a charity providing low-cost tech products and training for other non-for-profits. You can sign up for free on the website and register your community. So I'd say, why not? Second, discover and reflect on current communication or collaboration challenges. Again, like I talked about before, throwing tech at things isn't going to solve it. Really reflect on how you're working now. If it's working for you, amazing, really happy for you. Discuss remote team requirements. Take, again, if you want to see where you are on the tech foundations, where, like, on a scale of basic, advanced, intermediate, we'll jump on our hub. You can take a quiz there, it won't take too long. And then you can take it again on seeing where you're going on that journey. You may have an IT provider or partner, so if you aren't sure of where to even go, maybe ask them for good guidance or book a free 30-minute consultation with us via the hub. We'd love to speak to you. And yeah, again, just wanted to touch on connecting with the hub. Well, we've got so many guides. We've got the Tech Foundation guides. We've got Microsoft non-for-profit program. If you were unsure about some of the things I talked about today, I wish I had more time with you to really emphasize the 365 suite, but I hope you got a good sort of gist of how beneficial it is. And options for the Office products are on there, how to enable your remote setup guide, the link to the expert bars there, and if you want, be a part of our 2021 Digital Tech Survey. Okay, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for listening. Please reach out if you have any additional questions or go to the expert bar to come for us to come consult and help you. I was just looking there.
I have a couple of questions. Ruth has asked, do we offer very simple training for tech-averse elderly communities on Microsoft 365?
So, very simple training. I guess in terms of what particular sort of product or, you know, I guess what you're trying to do, what business objective are you trying to do? What I would recommend is coming to the Expert Bar Digital Transformation Hub and booking a time with our consultant so we can really maybe understand that a bit more, because we would love to obviously simplify the training for you. But yeah, come to our bars is what I can offer in that sense.
Brilliant. I've been sharing that link in the chat, so if you want to grab that, Ruth, we can get you where you need to be. Another question from just let me grab this. Sorry. Jessica has asked if Windows 10 is free with the standard package.
Yeah, so Windows 10 is the exchange. So if you're looking at the basic, or Windows 10, sorry, no, not Windows 10, I'm thinking about Outlook. Marcus can.
Our recommendation is still to buy Windows 10 through as an OEM product with the PC. Usually it's bundled with most PCs at no additional cost. That's the best way of doing it. There is detail underneath that you get free upgrades with the 365 licensing, but only for the Pro license, not 7 to 10. So just to save all the complexity, broadly our recommendation is to buy a Windows 10 license with the PC for whatever version you need, e.g. usually Pro is what we recommend to connect into 365.
Yeah, and I actually misunderstood that question. Sorry, Jessica's clarified. She meant not Windows 10, but the 10 free licenses.
What was the question again? Sorry.
And do you get the 10 free licenses with the standard package?
You get 10 free licenses irrespective, just as soon as you start up. So as soon as you connect to Office 365 or get validated as an eligible nonprofit, you can purchase the 10 licenses for $0 as part of 365, the business premium license. So you.
Fantastic. Jessica says thanks. That's all the questions we have at the moment. Anything that Julia or Marcus you'd like to add?
From my perspective, if you're not sure where to start, or this has been more detail than what you're ready for, my recommendation is just reach out, book an expert consult through the Digital Transformation Hub. We're here to help you demystify your technology journey as a non-profit. And so we've covered a mountain of information today. Reach out if you want some more detail in a specific area or some assistance getting started. We'd be thrilled to help. And we really hope that the information we've provided today has been very useful. Thanks, Julia. If I've missed anything, please jump in.
No, that was it. And we'd love feedback. So please feel free to give us some for this webinar so we can improve the next one and ensure that these are insightful and valuable to you. And look forward to seeing you when you come join the come to the expert bar, I should say.
Fantastic. Everybody, I have shared the link. Please use the link. You will receive a copy of the webinar recording and the presentation in the next day or so. I just want to thank Julia. Julia has just joined us in the last month. This is her first webinar, so thanks so much, Julia. That was really good. And also Marcus. And I'd like to wish everybody a great afternoon or the rest of your morning. And we'll hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Graham. Thanks, everyone.